If you have a shelf full of books that you've read, but your life looks exactly the same as it was a year ago, you've read The Atomic Habits, but you can't still wake up on time. You read The 4-Hour Work Week, but you're still working 50 hours per week for somebody else. Here's the hard truth. You're using learning as a form of procrastination. You buy a new book because it gives you the high. It makes you feel like you're doing something, you're building towards something, while you're actually just sitting on your couch. We call this the information obesity. You're stuffed with ideas, but you have zero results. And today I'm going to put you on an information fast. I'm going to show you why your library is actually your biggest distraction. So let's get to work. So the problem is that most people are just mental tourists, meaning that they love the idea of being disciplined or being wealthy or fit, so they have read about it. But reading about gym doesn't build muscles. Reading about sales doesn't close deals. When you read a book without taking any actions, you're just faking the progress. You're tricking your brain to think that, oh, you have fun. So you lose the hunger to actually go and win something. So if your library is bigger than the list of your achievements, and these achievements, they shouldn't be so big. It could be like being consistent with your gym or your diet. Even starting or being consistent with what you want to go after can count as achievement. Because if you haven't seen the end results yet, but you're still being consistent and relentless about it, believe me, you're gonna get it. But if not, if your library is just bigger than the list of your achievements, then you aren't a student, you're just a customer. Rule 1, use it or lose it protocol. From now on, we run 1-to-1 rule. For every 10 minutes you spend reading, you must spend 10 minutes of doing. If you have read a page about cold calling, you pick up the phone and you make a call. If you've read a chapter about focus, you stop, you do 30 minutes of deep work. If you aren't willing to do the work, you aren't allowed to read that book. So stop treating these books like it's just for entertainment. Basically, they're tactical manuals. So if you aren't on the battlefield, you don't need the manual. Rule 2, just-in-time learning. Stop reading just in case. Most people read about how to manage a team of 100 people when they haven't even managed to fix their own morning routine. They read about investing in real estate when they don't even have $500 in their savings. So only read about the problem you have right now. Can't focus? Read one chapter or a book on focus. Can't sell? Read a book on sales. If you can't apply the information in the following week, close the book. It's just a noise. That's just cluttering your brain and slowing you down. Rule 3, one book and one master. The most successful people I know don't have the most books. They have the most beat up books. They don't read 50 books a year on things that they're not gonna use it. They will read something that will actually matter and they can utilize it. And they read those books 50 times. They don't move on until those lessons are basically part of their DNA, because their mentality is that I'd rather master one book than skim through an entire library and remain the same person. Mastery comes from depth and not speed. You don't need more information, you need implementation. Look at the last thing you have highlighted in a book. Did you actually do it? If the answer is no, then stop learning and start doing. Comment down below if you're putting your books down and getting in the arena today. Stop being a tourist and start being like a pro. And I'll see you in the next one.